We begin, maroon and white notebook. We begin, and this will probably throw you off guard, Aggie basketball, Bucky Ball. ESPN, and this isn't bracketology, but their college basketball expert analyst did an SEC basketball preview, and in August. Okay, you have my attention. He ranked every team in the SEC, but he also did something with every team that fascinated me. He did ceiling and floor with the mathematical projections. Total wins is what you ended up with. We're all familiar with total wins. We get our over-unders for football. Joe Sheehan newsletter, MLB, does total win projections every year. We do Astros Rangers. I look at sports line projections. I love total wins. So, ESPN.com, SEC basketball, did a complete SEC preview, projected order of finish, using total wins, and then a ceiling floor for every team. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to think, but where do you think they picked A&M to finish? And ceiling and floor for Aggie basketball and wins. I will tell you, and this made sense. I have no problem with this part of it. A&M has a high level of variance in their win totals between the high and the low. Very high level of variance. They, ESPN, picked Florida 1. And their ceiling is insane at 40 wins. Winning the SEC and the postseason finish potential is national champion. So that tells you the high end of the Florida Gator basketball team. 40 wins, first in the SEC, and national champion is the ceiling. And didn't they win the national championship just 2 seasons ago? They have 4 players back from that national championship team. Now, what's their floor? 3rd place in the SEC with 30 wins. That's the projection. That's how good, according to ESPN and their data and their analytics, this Florida Gator team is. High end, 40 wins. And doomsday is still 30 wins and 3rd place. That's when you know you're loaded, right? The Texas Longhorns, basketball and football, but basketball, have gotten a lot of hype because of their recruiting class and definitely their NIL class, talent acquisition. Logan Lee made one of the most, for me, startling statements when I had him on back-to-back weeks doing some, State of the Union updating on Bucky Ball, that the Longhorn NIL basketball doubles A&M's. They committed. Well, ESPN has the Longhorns finishing 2nd in basketball this upcoming season. Their ceiling, 37 wins, 1st place in the SEC, national champions. Now, what's the floor? 24 wins, 5th place, and the Sweet 16. That is an extremely high level of variance. So, not a lock. Don't hand them the trophy yet. But you see what happens if it comes together for them. And I think Sean Miller made a statement about his postseason coaching ability by just taking last year's Longhorn team. They were an 11 seed and made a Sweet 16 run with that team. So with this team and the talent he acquired, if they have it together by March, you could see the run. I mean, that's apples to apples right there. So the Longhorn team, 2nd or high end, 37 wins, 1st in the SEC, national champs. And then the floor, 24, 5th place, Sweet 16. We're all about the maroon and white world. I wanted to give you a couple of minutes maybe to do math yourself or just expectation projection. Where do you think Bucky Ball, floor ceiling, floor ceiling, floor ceiling? Well, ESPN picked A&M 10th in the SEC. I do not agree with that. it's underselling Bucky again. Now, you know what? I say again. I do want to be fair about it. To project Bucky last season, a coach who, and we know the storyline. How many times I say it, you say it, we heard it every broadcast, but a coach took over a team, a program that had one player who was a walk-on, and then deep in the portal with not many players left. What was A&M supposed to be projected last year? So there was no underselling, underestimating. There was no mistakes made. If you picked A&M to be 16th, how could you be wrong entering last season, even after what Bucky put together? What Bucky did last year is one of the greatest coaching jobs ever, history of Aggie athletics. So, no, I don't want to say it again. That's a mistake on my part. But this year, when Bucky showed you what he did with no time, and I don't know about resources, but no, they gave him some money last year. Some. Okay, this year's team. They're picked 10th. The ceiling, 25 wins, 4th in the SEC, and Sweet 16. And I'm okay with the ceiling, possibility. Their schedule is brutal. Their schedule is kind of unreal to me. Went over it with Logan Lee, and maybe you weren't here. Oh, man, where were you? Missed you. Their schedule, normally we go, what's the toughest stretch? And there's like 2.5 toughest stretches. And one of their toughest stretches lasts for 3 weeks. It's not, oh, look at this week. Look at this 3-game stretch. No, it's like 3 weeks long. And it's the whole end month and a half. A&M's basketball schedule is unreal. It's like, who did they piss off in the SEC league office? Did they look at Bucky Ball last year and go, man, A&M does not know their role. We got to teach a lesson here. Brutal schedule. So the ceiling part of this, like if A&M finishes 4th in the SEC, this year the SEC is loaded. You could see that 2 years ago, SEC was the clear number 1, had like 6 teams that could win the Natty, could have took 3 of the 4 spots in the Final Four, had the national champion in Florida. Like the SEC was that league. Last year, it was still outstanding, but you could see the drop off from that year, and you could see the recommitment level in money, coaches, you name it. That was the NIL and the player acquisition and all that kind of stuff. You could just see it. So the league this year, it's brutal. It's number 1. They're going to have the most number of teams in. You're going to see an all-time record set where 2 conferences will have double-digit teams in. That's never happened before. But remember, we expanded the field. Is it a field of 78 now? That was the number that we expanded to. So when you see first time ever double digits, well, first time ever a field of 78. The Big Ten will finally get double digits with the SEC at the same time. SEC's been doing double digits for a while. So the floor is where, that's where I shook my head and kind of went, really? The floor for Aggie basketball, and this is all ESPN.com projections for the entire SEC. It's their preview in August. Fascinated me. The floor for Bucky Ball, they say, is 18 wins and finishing 10th with no NCAA tournament appearance. I feel like with the talent level that Bucky brought in, that to finish with 18 wins, you got to have a lot of bad luck. It won't be about them not clicking with the system. It won't be about the players. It'll have to be external of your talent level. The system doesn't click. And it'll have to be multiple players. It'll have to be injuries. If you hear the knocking, okay? I'm not trying to put no voodoo, hoodoo, curse stuff. Like that, it'll have to be external of talent because the talent level is not 18-win talent level. That's one thing I have 0.00. It's not the coaching staff. They showed you that last year where they had to come in, take the best available, players that don't even play Bucky Ball, best of their ability. Everything was on the fly week to week, and they still made the tournament. The league is tougher. True. A&M's better. adjusting with the toughness of the league, the rising level. So, 18 wins, that floor, if it were to hit, they're again, players don't pick up Bucky Ball. Injuries, that's external. You can't project that. That's the only way I see the floor being hit. Seriously, too. And the ceiling 25, floor 18. That would mean it would all fall apart in league play. Because in the non-con, there's a lot of wins there. A lot of wins there. Matter of fact, 14, they're going to have, 10 would be a bad non-con. They probably should have at least 12, 11. So we're talking about a 6 to 7 win conference season. Yeah. It would be a nightmare. I got to take a break. Timeout. You got any thoughts on floor, ceiling, SEC preview, Bucky Ball 10, ESPN.com? You can text 979-693-1150. But up next, when we return, he's back. Chip Howard Sports Talk, every Wednesday, right about 11:20, will join me inside the Charles Schwab studio. This is the Louis Bellina Show. Oh, we're just getting started. Wednesday here on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. If my computer works.
This is your home for Aggie football, home, road, or bowl. The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
The Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, and community. And he's back. And you know that if you listen in afternoons 4 to 6 p.m. Chip Howard Sports Talk. And he's back with me Wednesdays, right about 11:20. He'll join me in the Charles Schwab studio. We catch up, hang out. Chip, it's been a while, man.
It has, yeah. It's been a little while.
What did you do with the summer? Because that would take hours and hours. You were gone for like 2-3 months. But what was the highlight of you being gone during the summer?
Probably floating down the Roaring Fork River.
Really? Man, that's so old school.
Catching trout. Weather was pretty good while we were gone. One story, we left the mountains early on our way home. It was 49 degrees. We pulled into Amarillo that afternoon. It was 108 degrees. It went up almost 60 degrees, about 10 degrees an hour as we headed back toward Texas.
You feel every
wanted to turn around, but I
you
knew
feel every
you know
degree of it
like that. Yeah, it's horrible, but that's okay.
yeah, it was horrible. But you're back, and currently on Sports Talk. I know you've done this for, I think it's like 38 years now. But the SEC preview,
yes, every afternoon at 4:30. Today is South Carolina. Tomorrow is Alabama. Friday is Florida.
With your preview, are you doing a countdown to one, or it's just a team each day?
No, it's just a team a day.
Okay.
We don't count down on the 25th, which is a Tuesday, will be what our people have determined is the most listened to radio show in the world.
I always thought that was your recruiting preview.
No, this was taken over. So I tell everybody how we're going to finish. I hate doing it because gamblers now have they're just swarming, the show and the podcast, but I just have to, with the caveat, this isn't for gambling purposes.
That doesn't stop gamblers.
I know, it doesn't.
They used to play your predictions preview SEC edition on a loop in the MGM Sportsbook.
Yeah, I know. But I can't do anything about that.
Hey, once it goes into the public, we can't control what they do with our podcasts anymore.
Public domain, that's correct.
Hey, nothing we can control.
Nothing I can do with it.
So you're a Rangers fan. I'm an Astros fan, but we can share the misery it is to watch our teams all summer long.
So when they started this stretch of games against two of the worst teams in baseball, all the Ranger fans going, well, they're going to take 5 out of 7.
No.
I said, no, they're not going to take 5 out of 7. This is a 500 team. If they're lucky, they can win 4 out of 7. They can go 4-3 if they're lucky.
They're not lucky.
Well, they were already like 8-13 against these two teams, right?
Rusty Burson has taught me that the Rangers fail against bad teams.
They start a pitcher, and he's from Dallas Baptist, grew up in Dallas, grew up a Ranger fan. He has 2 wins with an ERA over 7. He throws 60 pitches in the first 2 innings.
That's not good.
60 pitches. The Rangers score 1 run, right? They ended up with 2 runs, so in 18 innings, they've scored 3 runs. They had a 3-run 10th like the Astros did the night before. I can't, there's just no explanation other than to say we're just talking about 500 teams here. That's just what they are. They're at 500. These are 500 teams. I heard Joe Sheehan yesterday talk about could be the first time ever a team below 500 wins a division. And that's certainly, possible.
I printed this. Can't find it. Who cares? But every team in the AL West is currently on a losing streak, 1 game or more, but like the last place Angels, who won yesterday against the Rangers. So they're on a 1-game win streak. But, I guess it's the Mariners have lost 5 straight. Astros have lost 1 straight. Rangers have lost 1 straight. Mariners 5 straight. Every A's have lost whatever straight. But everyone has lost. It's insane.
It's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy.
It's insane to watch. It's unrealistic to expect any one of these teams to win in the postseason. But, Joe, since you referenced them, keep saying none of this matters once you hit the postseason. You go to the best of 3. You just need one random great start. Your bullpens take over.
From 2023, they were terrible all year. They barely got into the playoffs. They had to go on the road twice, and win games even to get, into the regular playoffs, which they did. Got hot, had career years from people. That happens. Bill Parcells always said, we just have to get in the tournament. Right? We just got to get in the tournament. And that's what you try to do. You try to get in the tournament and then just see what happens from there. It doesn't matter how bad they've been or anybody has been because that's just sports. That's the great thing about it. You don't know. But having said that, I'm not at all confident. And there's no reason to be confident this team can even get to the tournament at this point. But again, they're in a division where everybody's 500, and you're going to win 80. If you win 81 games,
you're a heavy favorite.
You might win the division.
You're a heavy favorite in the West if you get 81.
If you win 81 games, we'll see.
We're at a point where I just want to fast forward to the final weekend.
It's brutal to watch, man. I'm just telling you, all season long. As a Rangers fan, you're just used to the losing. That's the bottom line. For years and years, you're just used to the losing. But this has been especially painful because they've won a few games, and you go, "How did that happen? How did they win this game?" And you're just overjoyed that they win a game during the season out of 162. And then the next night, you're going, "Oh, they're on a roll right now." And did you see what they did? And the next night would be like last night. They play an Angels team that's terrible, a pitcher that's terrible, a pitcher
and you score a run, one solo run,
and you let him just hang on, and you lose the game. And it's like, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm disappointed. I'm not surprised.
As an Astros fan. They've had stretches this year where you sit there and go, they've turned the corner. They're one of the top 3 teams in baseball. If you listen yesterday again with Joe, I did this since June 1st. Do you know the Astros have the 7th best record in all of MLB since June 1st?
Oh, yeah.
But they have these stretches where they look like one of the 5 worst teams in MLB. They have losses that are so brutal. It almost looks disinterested. It just doesn't look like real baseball.
Same thing in Arlington every night, every single night.
Oh, I'm not saying every night. It's just
you don't
stretches.
know what you're getting.
It's stretches.
You don't know what you're getting.
I understand in baseball, it's one of the things you have to, if you're a baseball fan, that it's 6 months long, 162 games. And there are nights where nothing happens because your team, it's not mental. It's just players are tired. So I get where there's these throwaway games during the course of the year. How do you have throwaway stretches, though? That's the part that always makes me tired.
That's just the consistency of the division that no one's very good. That's how you had those stretches. I mean, I think the Rangers' longest winning streak's like 5 games this year, maybe 6, maybe. They had won 4 in a row, and then they just play a terrible game. With Kumar Rocker, who won't cover first base ever when a ball is hit on the right side of the infield. They sent him to the minors last year for 10 days.
To work on it?
To work on covering first base, and he still won't do it. And so they have these kinds of games, which you expect now. I mean, the season, you know what your team is, Lou. You know what they are.
Said that yesterday.
I know what the Rangers are. And the other thing Parcells always said, you are what your record says you are. There can be 1,000 what ifs from fans. Well, if we'd only done this, if we'd only done that. No, but you didn't. You are what your record says you are. These are 500 teams.
Chip, I know you need to go. You're an important man with important things. Is it true the Longhorns are going to win the national championship in both football and basketball this year?
Well, I haven't decided on basketball quite yet, Lou. Football's a given. I'm not quite there on basketball yet. They'll be in the Final Four for sure, but winning it all, I don't know about that yet.
So is it time to move on from Schloss then, since he can't carry his part of the bargain in this story?
Hey, Kurt Bowles' column today talks about how few players Texas has in the major leagues right now compared to, history, and how few of their players even going into this year are rated as top players in college baseball. He did talk about that.
So Kurt can't go
They're
after
in a drought.
So Kurt can't go after football, basketball. So he thought it was time to go after Schloss.
No,
come on.
He can't take Schloss to dinner right now.
Well, again, he couldn't go after football, basketball. Their projections are too optimistic.
He can't take any of them to dinner.
Oh man, I can't believe that.
Kirk will start back with me. I think next Friday, week from Friday. So.
Oh, ask him why. That's the problem with Longhorn baseball.
He as far as I know, he does not have Texas winning the national championship this year. He did last year.
In which sport? Since all three they're projected to.
Football.
Okay. They're projected to in all three.
Well, I did not know that. I haven't seen that.
Well, football, they're obviously college football CFP.
Yeah, that's a given.
Basketball, they have this floor ceiling thing where, they're picked to be there on the regional weekend.
Okay.
And baseball, we don't know that yet, but how they won't be in the top 10, I don't know. So look, that's their position of all three programs.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's just the way it is right now.
Yeah, they spent. That's it. They spent money.
Yeah, but as you well know, lots of teams and organizations can spend money. I mean, and they are right now. It's how it's spent, right? It's just how do you spend that money? It's still, and I'm telling you,
true.
It's the same in college now. You got to watch it. It's the same in college. Are you getting what you pay for? If I'm writing checks, big checks at these universities, that's why all these guys are demanding. That's why the pressure is as high as it is. It's like, hey, we just paid you $5 million to get this quarterback, and now this quarterback you're telling me isn't all that. Don't ask me for $5 million next year.
True. Things elevated like they do in the real world now, not just in the college fantasy sports world, where you keep going back to the well every year. And people finally went, because it used to be your friendly neighborhood. Here's 1,000, here's 10, here's 100. Now it's
nice,
$1 million,
nice
$5
play,
million.
Here's $100.
And now these businessmen want ROI, return on investment.
No doubt.
They're not just donating because they love their school anymore.
I don't blame them.
It's that natural evolution of things.
You're giving that kind of money.
What do you got today, Chip?
We're going to hear the Lyle Hemphill interview. I did yesterday, home in Wiggins. We carried that live on your show yesterday, so I'm going to play him, and then Scott Clendenin is in. And the great Allie is going to say farewell on the entertainment segment this afternoon.
I can't even deal with that.
Allie has filled in, many times over the years in entertainment. I asked her today, I said, hey, you're leaving. I need you on the show.
One last time.
So we're going to do one last time.
Every time I think about Allie leaving, I almost lose it. I can't deal with this.
I know.
I can't deal with this.
In radio it happens every day, but around here it doesn't so much.
No,
I think 21 years or something like that. So at least we get a free hamburger tomorrow.
Exactly. Chip, thank you, brother.
Thanks, Lou.
Chip Howard Sports Talk Tuesdays, right about 11:20. Will join me inside the Charles.
Wednesdays.
Wait, did I say Tuesday? Like I can read a calendar. Chip Howard Sports Talk Wednesdays, right about 11:20. You'll join me here on the Louis Bellina Show on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
The Louis Bellina Show. Dial 979-693-1150.
Hello.
To visit with him. Hello. Or to win. Hello. On the D4 Land Services Hotline. Dial 979-693-1150.
It is the Louis Bellina Show inside the Charles Schwab studio. It is the Louis Bellina Show on a Wednesday. Thank you, Chip. Got me straight on that one. And we've just begun. Coming up at 12:35, a listen in Aggie Soccer. The 26-27 A&M athletic season begins tonight. And when I say begins, I'm talking about on the score sheet, WL that counts on the record book. Aggie Soccer in Houston to take on Rice. Got to listen in Aggie Soccer at 12:35. We'll head out on the D4 Land Services at 1:35. Bubba Bush of BV MMA and Fitness. Now, normally, Wednesdays 12 noon, Tony Catalina, Gig'em 247, not happening. Aggie football currently has practice and then media availability following. Tony's working. He was with us Monday at 1. So we got our Tony fix this week. He will not be with us today, 12 noon. Just Aggie football fall camp. A lot of shuffling going on because of that. But, hey, we got our Tony fix, so we shall survive. Don't forget, you could text me. You could text any guest. You could text 979-693-1150. That's going to be very, very important. Noon till 1, the ticket booth is going to open. Your chance to win. I'll explain more at 12 noon, and you'll be texting. So 979-693-1150. And, well, the ticket booth is thanks to Dixie Tire Company. So be prepared. Just like maybe get that number programmed in your phone now. 979-693-1150. This caught my attention this morning. Sportico, business of sports. Sportico is the business of sports. Released, and it's their annual NFL franchise evaluations. Annual NFL franchise evaluations. This should shock no one if you're familiar, but the Dallas Cowboys are the most valuable, worth the most franchise in the NFL. $15.5 billion. And they're one of the few North American franchises, professional sports, that always make like the top 10 list. If not, if I remember right, they're always in the top 3. If you ever look at those international ones, they're always soccer teams. They're always soccer teams, the most valuable. Cowboys are one of the few that breaks on to that top 10, top 5, top 3 list. But this is the NFL list. Just to give you a feel of how valuable the Cowboys are worth. 15.5, second place LA Rams, 12.7. So that's a $2.8 billion gap just from first to second. Doesn't sound like much when we're double digits and 15, 12 bill. To me, $2 billion, I could work with that. If it's not that much, just pass it on over. But first to 10th, a third of the league, first to 10th. Cowboys won, 15.5 bill. 10th place is the Atlanta Falcons at $9.78 billion, which still, in my world, that's good money. If you can make it. But the gap between first and 10th, top third of value of franchises, valuations, is $6 billion. That is a huge gap. And that's the thing. That's the Jerry trap. He might be the greatest businessman in the history of the NFL. Not might. I'm pretty sure that's just a fact. He's the greatest businessman in the history of the NFL. Now, there's others who came first, revolutionized things in a business context, helped the NFL evolve in things. But Jerry is still light years ahead of most franchises, was a revolutionary thinker, forced the NFL to change their business habits, has maximized more than any other. We all know the Jerry problem is he also thinks he's a head coach, head of NFL scouting, head of evaluation, doesn't know when to step out of the other areas and just stick to the money making of it all. And it's been to the franchise detriment and things like that. But when it comes to money, business, no one in the history of the league is on the Jerry Jones tier. So the Sportico, business of sports, released their annual ranking of every franchise. Dallas Cowboys, $15.5 billion. Now, other franchises of notes, how about the Houston Texans? 13th, $9.52 billion. Once you get away from like the Cowboy tier, you'll notice that the difference, I told you the difference between first and second, Cowboys 1, Rams 2, is 2.8. Well, the difference between like 10th, which is the Falcons, and you can go down to 32, dead last. By the way, I would let you guess who's dead last. If you need more than 3, you're just not thinking hard enough. Because if you think about the franchises that are the mutts of the mutts, you'll get there within 3 guesses. Cincinnati Bengals, 32, lowest, valuation, 7.4 bill. But that's only a 2.1 billion gap. So first to 10th, Cowboys 1, Falcons 2. Again, as I've said, that's a 2.6 billion gap. But yet 10th to 32, the last 2/3 of the league, the gap's only, and I do mean only, 2.5. So that tells you, again, the perspective of how big and total the actual gap is between the Cowboys and the rest of the world. That's how good Jerry's been at making money, the valuation, Cowboys, etc. Kind of insane, yeah? Anyway, I always look at that each year, and it never changes. Doesn't change at all. We're going to have a lot more NFL here on the Louis Bellina Show on Fridays at 1. We'll end each week on the Louis Bellina Show with Josh Kendall of The Athletic. He does their weekly power rankings, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Top stories, NFL, top games of the upcoming weekend. I almost want to say obviously. And when I knew I was getting these 2 hours, Wednesday 1, Friday 1, added in, I'm like, what do we need more of? NFL is the number one priority. So we'll get you ready for each NFL weekend. We already covered the Aggie weekend, SEC weekend. So the NFL weekend, that's what's next. And as I've been prepping kind of all summer to get ready for it, NFL, different beast. It's weird. I remember I love the NFL, but the more I got into college football, the less NFL. I'm one of those. But now that college keeps wanting to be NFL, I'm kind of in this limbo. Don't get me wrong. I love college football. You can still get lost. I like the sloppiness of college football. I like the imperfection of college football. Always have. Always have. And the NFL strive for, boil it down to 2 mistakes so nobody takes risks. Everybody's scared. Let's call run, punt for 3 quarters and try and win it in the 4th. I hate that approach. NFL strayed from that a bit now with the modern head coach and the modern philosophies. But it's still too sterile at times. You give me just any college football game day and the crowds and all the messy that comes with it. You still got tons of messy. I like the chaos. And I don't think you'll ever eliminate that from college football. Everybody's aged 18 to 22, and the transfer portal has made overall team quality play even less and less over time now because the teams don't play together long enough. You have so much change each year, and teams can only, though playing together, senior heavy stuff still would count for overall team quality, even though you can have more overall talent with the way you can acquire now. You can rebuild faster. But there was something when, this core of players were together for 3 years, let's say. So anyway, but it's weird. The money element introduction. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. And by the way, I'm not the guy sitting on the porch, the old dude waving his hand, talking about the good old days. Because you got to understand, college football, that's all gone. The one thing, I'm not sitting on my porch. I'm just sitting there with a beer in each hand. I'm just ready for college football to have stability so that everything can move forward into the new reality. That's what I want. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not saying we need to go back to, we need to revert to. Just get a rule book that's set so that we could start perfecting and just have same and settle into whatever college football is going to be. But every year, how many things change, how many things get added, and with no stability, we just can't move forward. Just tell me what college football is going to be and let's go. When we return, I got to wrap up our first hour together. This is the Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, and community. That's CC Electric. This is the Louis Bellina Show on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Listen to The Zone on the Zone app.
Download the app.
Yeah. Thanks to Loyalty Plumbing. The pros at Loyalty Plumbing are ready to serve you, Aggie Land.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Visit them. LoyaltyPlumbingLLC.net.